It turns out it's not just cold, it's not just freezing, it could be dangerous out there. Joining us live on the phone with tips on how to stay safe in this glacial cold is one of our favorites, Dr. Zach Levine from the MUHC. Good morning, Zach. How are you?
Good morning. I'm well, thanks.
All right, let's talk about this, right? We know it's cold. We're saying to people, be careful. Catherine is telling people to stay indoors if they can. Who should be staying indoors? Are we talking about the elderly and infants? Who should definitely not be outside in this weather?
Well, yeah, there's no question that the people of extreme ages are at more risk for things like frostbite and hypothermia. So definitely, if you can, if young children and older adults can stay home, can stay indoors in a warm place, that's ideal. Having said that, if you need to go out, or if anyone needs to go out, the key is to dress properly and to be careful. So layer up, and cover every millimeter of skin. I mean, that's the thing that happens is many of us don't dress properly for it being really, really cold. We dress like we're going from a heated house to a heated car to a heated office.
Right.
Dress like you're actually staying outside and just cover every millimeter of your skin to protect yourself.
Yeah, Dr. Zach, let's talk about that because Catherine did mention a little earlier, she talked about frostbite, right? And so in this kind of temperature, when do you start feeling, is it a burning sensation? Like how do you know you're in trouble and you need to get back inside?
Well, yeah, most of us have probably felt it. The first symptom of it is, yes, pain. It's usually like a burning type of pain. The problem is, and it gets worse and worse and worse, and then the problem is when you no longer have any sensation, that's when it's really a concern. And I've definitely seen several cases this year of severe frostbite. And yes, but the first thing is, yes, you do feel it, and you feel it, and it hurts a lot, and that is the first indication to get covered up. Cover up whatever part of the body that is, and then get somewhere warm. And if you do think you have frostbite, by the way, obviously you want to warm it up. The best thing is warm water, is circulating warm water. If you can get your feet, for example, into a warm tub of water, that's the best thing to start warming it up again.
Okay, Dr. Zach, we also have to talk about this. There's an increase in heart attacks, specifically linked to overexerting yourself at this time of year. What exactly are we talking about? We're talking about shoveling, right? But who in particular is at risk for this?
Yeah, so unfortunately, yes, there's up to a 50% increase in heart attacks in the winter for a few reasons. One is that your blood vessels constrict in the winter and blood clots more easily. And yes, the other thing that you mentioned is absolutely that people are doing things they're not used to doing, especially if you're not used to exercising at all, and then you go outside and you're somewhere and you're doing exercise, plus it's really cold and your blood is clotting, then you're at increased risk for heart attack. So, be wise. Don't go out there if you're really not in shape at all and it's really cold. And especially if you're older and there's a risk of you falling and hurting yourself, that's another big concern. We see a lot of older people falling and breaking bones and that sort of thing. So take it easy. If you decide to shovel, first of all, dress really warmly. Do it. I would say use a small shovel so that you're not lifting a heavy amount of snow.
Right.
And then take it easy. Do a little bit at a time. Don't lift if you're not used to lifting heavy amounts. Just push the snow, push it out of the way. But really, now is not the best time to pick up the shovel. If you haven't been active and you haven't been out there in the cold.
It's not the time to pretend that you're the strong man or woman if you're not used to doing that. Dr. Zach, thank you so much for all these tips. Again, Dr. Zach Levine from the MUHC. We'll speak again very soon.
Thanks, Joanne.